So you've been studying Spanish for months. You've learned a gang of words. You've learned some grammar. You can even read a kid's book in Spanish without breaking a sweat. But the second a native speaker opens their mouth, what happens? Your brain turns into a field of crickets. It's like you hear the person talking to you, but you feel like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour talking to Jackie Chan.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
But the words are all smashed together like one giant blurry sound. Well, check this out. There's a 500-year-old technique that fixes this. Yes, 500-year-old. And I'm willing to bet the last time you did anything similar to it, you were in elementary school. So coming up, I'm going to show you what it is, why it works, and the exact 3-step routine I use to train my ears to understand spoken Spanish. And you can do it too, starting with just 10 minutes per day. Let's get into it. So here's a question I have for you. Have you ever watched a Spanish movie or show with subtitles on and understood almost everything? Then you decide to turn the subtitles off, and immediately you feel like your brain also turned off. Yeah, yo también. I actually experienced this early on when I first started learning Spanish, and every student I've ever coached has hit this wall too. But here's the real reason why. Reading Spanish and hearing Spanish are two completely different skills. Let's break this down even more. When you read, your eyes see clean spaces between words. Los amigos están aquí. In other words, you are visually seeing the segmentation of Spanish words. But when you hear Spanish, those spaces, poof, in the wind. As you are well aware, native speakers don't say los amigos están aquí. They say los amigos están aquí. 3 blended sounds in one breath. You see, your eyes have been trained for years, but your ears, this is brand new for them. It's basically like you're trying to run a marathon on legs that have never walked. This is the gap we all face in the beginning learning stages. And the 500-year-old technique, which is dictation, closes it faster than almost anything else. Now, if this is your first time here, hola, soy Profe Don Omar, creator of Speak Spanish Now in the Daily Fluency System community. After 22 years in the classroom, I've realized one thing. Most adults don't fail Spanish because they're not smart enough. They fail because no one taught them how to actually use what they learn. And that's exactly what I do here. Real activation, real speaking, real fluency for busy adults who don't have time to waste. Dictation, or dictado en español, is very simple actually. Por ejemplo, you listen to a short clip of Spanish audio. You pause the clip. Then you write down exactly what you hear. Then you check what you wrote against the transcript or the subtitles. Es todo. No app, no course, no subscription. Todo lo que necesitas son tus oídos, un bolígrafo o un lápiz y 10 minutos. But here's where most people and most teachers get it wrong. They treat dictation like a test. How many did you get right? Or how many did you get wrong? That's completely the wrong take on this activity. Dictation isn't a test, it's a microscope. Basically what I'm saying is this. You're not trying to score high, you're trying to find the exact spots where your ear breaks down. Because once you can see where it breaks down, you most definitely can fix it. Now, I know you're thinking, Profe, is dictado just another hack? Y la respuesta? No. And that's what makes this concept so powerful. You see, language teachers have used dictation for over 500 years. Back in 1900, one famous educator called it the most perfect combination of mental faculties in all of language learning. So why have most of us never been taught to use it well? Because in the 1950s and 60s, a new wave of teaching declared dictation too passive and threw it out. In other words, educators didn't feel like it was serving a well enough purpose to develop fluency with students. But here's what the research actually found. The problem was never dictation itself. The problem was that teachers used it at the wrong time, in the wrong way. as a punishment, a spelling quiz, a gotcha. But if used correctly, modern researchers found dictation lines up with overall language ability better than almost any other single exercise. That's the difference between a test and a training tool. So the first reason it works is it forces active listening. When you watch a show, you can find yourself occasionally zoning out. I've done it often. But what happens when this occurs? That's right, your brain fills the gaps. You see, with dictation, you can't zone out. A missed word leaves a blank page. Your brain is forced to focus. Reason number 2 that dictation works is it trains bottom-up processing. Look at it this way. Linguists split listening into 2 modes. Top-down is when you guess from context. Por ejemplo, they're in a restaurant, they probably said something about a menu. Bottom-up is when you actually decode the sounds, either with individual letters or word by word. However, most beginners are stuck in top-down. You guess everything. And when there's no context to guess from, what happens? Exacto. You end up lost. However, with dictation, it forces you to use the bottom-up process. You can't guess, you have to actually hear. Hey, real quick, if you're gaining value from this video right now, be sure to like it, hype it, and share it with someone you know trying to become a better and more confident Spanish speaker. Now, let's get back to la lección de hoy. Okay, razón número 3, the noticing effect. There's a famous theory by a linguist named Richard Schmidt called the noticing hypothesis. It basically says this: you cannot acquire what you don't notice. If you've never noticed that para ella sounds like para ella, you'll never produce it. And you'll never catch it when others say it. That's the great thing about using dictation in Spanish. It makes you notice everything. The blends, the drop consonants, the fast vowels nobody told you about. Razón número 4. It's a 4-skill workout. Look at dictation like this. In one 10-minute session, you train listening, the obvious one, writing, spelling and accents, reading, when you check the transcript or the subtitles, speaking, when you read your transcript or subtitles out loud. One exercise, 4 skills. I call it the gym workout of Spanish learning. Razón número 5. Dictation is a proficiency mirror. This is the one that surprised even me. Researchers discovered that how well you can take dictation closely tracks your total ability in the language. Listening, grammar, vocabulary, all of it. Think about that. It means dictation isn't just one skill. It's a snapshot of all of them. So when your dictation gets better, your whole Spanish gets better. It's not a side exercise. It's the main event. Ahora, regardless of whether you're a day 1 beginner or a seasoned beginner, there's a trap most YouTube videos won't warn you about. The typical advice people give all over YouTube, social media, as well as in person: grab a podcast, grab a video, look at a novela or a show, which is basically made for natives, and just listen to it or watch it. Now, what do you think normally happens if you follow that advice? What do you think will happen if you try to dictate it? Exacto. With both of these options, you'll tap out in 3 minutes. Max. Guaranteed. Understand this. Native speed for a beginner is like asking a kid who just learned how to swim to cross the English Channel, the Amazon, the Mississippi, or even the Nile. So what should you do then? You have to match the audio level to your level. So here are the things you need to consider as a true beginner up to a seasoned beginner. You want audio at 3/4 speed or full speed. Short clips, I'm talking 15 to 30 seconds max. A speaker with clear pronunciation. Topics you already know or interested in. And I'm gonna hook you up with some specific sources in a moment. Bueno, here's the exact routine I would use as a beginner student. Paso número 1, the gist pass. To try this strategy, pick a clip that's 15 to 30 seconds. Play it once, all the way through. I'm talking no pausing, no writing, just listen. Ask yourself these two questions. What's the topic and what's the feeling or emotion that I'm gathering from what I'm listening to? This activates the top-down brain and gives your bottom-up brain something to hook onto. Paso número dos, the detail pass. Then I want you to play the clip again. This time, pause every 3 to 5 seconds and write down what you hear. The objective is not to try to be perfect. I want you to make sure to use dashes for words you miss and make guesses at spelling for words you aren't familiar with. And most importantly, leave a question mark where you're unsure. If you have to repeat a section 4 or 5 times, do it. It's practice.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game. We're talking about practice.
Presta atención. All repetitions are great for developing your bilingual brain. This is the workout. This is where the growth happens. Paso número tres, the reveal. Now and only now, open the transcript or put on the subtitles. Compare line by line. But here's the key. Don't just check right or wrong. For every mistake, ask 3 questions. Did I not know this word? That's a word gap issue. Did I know it but not recognize the sound? That's a sound gap issue. Did I hear it but spell it wrong? That's a spelling gap. Each gap has a different fix. If it's a word gap, flashcard it. Sound gap, re-listen 5 times with the transcript open. Spelling gap, write the words out 3 to 5 times. Your last move is to read your corrected transcript out loud and mimic the audio as much as possible. This strategy is what I call shadowing on top of dictation. So right here, you're stacking those skills. And the total time you spend, 10 to 15 minutes. Now, how often should you do this? I'm thinking 5 days a week. In 30 days, I'm telling you, your ear will be a different organ. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Profe, I love this, but doing it alone is hard. I hear you. And that's exactly why I run the Spanish Made Simple Challenge. It's 5 days live with me where we train your ear and your mouth together. But check this out. Here's the part that I'm super excited about. For the first time ever, I'm running it in the evening. So if you work all day, you can finally join us without having to take time off from work. I'll drop the details below in the description. Or you can just scan the QR code on the screen to register. No pressure. But if you've been waiting for the right time, this is it. Okay, let's get back to la lección de hoy. So like I mentioned earlier, here's my short list for you to try out dictation. Dreaming Spanish. Start with the super beginner videos. They're free on YouTube and the transcripts are available. News in Slow Spanish. It's designed for learners. That's the name of it. The Spanish Boost Gold Podcast. Slow, clear. Coffee Break Spanish. Huge beginner podcast library. Y por supuesto, clips from this playlist right here on Speak Spanish Now. But what's super important here is this. Only pick one source. Don't bounce around. Siempre recuerda. Consistency beats variety at the beginner stage. Real talk. Week 1, you're going to feel stupid. You'll miss half the words. And you'll wonder if you have a hearing problem. The truth is this though. You don't. Your ear is simply just untrained. In week 2, you'll start catching the short connector words. Que, y, pero, está. During week 3, the blends start to split apart in your head. Los amigos starts to sound like los amigos again. By week 4, you'll watch a show and quietly notice the actors aren't speaking as fast as they used to. They're not. You just got faster. So as we begin to land the plane, let's lock in the 4 things that matter most. Número uno, reading Spanish and hearing Spanish are different skills. Your ears need their own training. Número dos, dictation isn't a test, it's a microscope. You're hunting for the exact spots where your ear breaks down. Número tres, the routine is 3 passes. Gist, detail, reveal. Listen for the big picture. Write what you hear. Then check and sort your mistakes. Número cuatro, keep it small. 10 minutes of practice, the right level audio, 5 days a week. That's the whole method. 500 years and it still works to this day.
400 still fighting to this day. To this day.
So I always like to leave you with the Profe Power Tip, and today's Profe Power Tip is this. Don't erase your mistakes. Keep every dictation in one notebook. Wrong words and all. ¿Por qué? Because in 3 weeks, you'll flip back to week 1 and see the words you couldn't catch before that you catch easily now. That notebook becomes your proof. And your proof is what keeps you going when motivation runs out. And so I've got something for you here if you stayed all the way to the end. I got one free thing to get you started today. It's your Spanish Starter Kit, your first 7 days to real conversation. A simple PDF that gives you a day-by-day plan to start speaking, not just studying. Just click the link below to grab it. Now, do you remember the wall I described at the start? The one where you understand the page or the movie, but freeze at the voice without the transcript or the subtitles? Dictation is the chisel that breaks it down. Not in a month of telenovelas, not in a year of Duolingo. In 10 minutes a day, con un lapicero y un lápiz, and the courage to be bad at it. And if you're ready to try it out, click right here and I'll see you over there. Soy Profe Don Omar, your guide on how to speak Spanish now. Nos vemos.